Hey guys, this is January the 19th, 2026, and I got something that I want to talk to you guys about because a lot of people may not be aware of this or that it's happening, but the cases of the elderly that are falling and breaking their hips and their legs and their feet, and their arms, it's just unbelievable. It is off the charts. Just this week. Okay, now let's go back about 3 weeks ago. I heard about three elderly people, two women, one man, who fell and broke their hip. All three of them broke their hips in the same week. One of them, they said, was uh, outside picking up limbs or something, fell over. It just fell over now. It wasn't even really a bad fall, but they broke their hip and they ended up in the hospital with a hip replacement. Then there was another man who uh, fell off of a ladder. The ladder just gave way with him and he fell and broke his hip and fractured a couple of ribs. And his face got all banged up too. It's like all bruised up and cuts and all on it. And then there was another lady who fell at home. She said she got up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and she slipped on something and fell and broke her hip. That's about 3 weeks ago. And then about 2 weeks ago, there was more like 4 cases of new patients that fell, elderly people who fell and broke their hips. Some of them there was one lady who broke her hand, there was another one who broke their leg. But most of the cases are always the hips. They fall and break their hips. And then this week, I mean, it's gotten so out of hand till I'm losing count. I can't keep up with everybody. And all of these people live in this same little town, live in my town. But it's gotten to the point to where it's getting out of control. I see somebody walking over there. Anyway, it's getting out of control, and none of these people, not one of these people, of these elderly people, know about the energy weapons. They have no clue, and you can't tell. If you try to tell them what's happening, number one, they wouldn't understand what you're talking about, and number two, they wouldn't believe you. Okay, um, if you try to tell them, well, it's the energy weapons knocking you down. And look, I know it's the energy weapons because they're always trying to make me fall. I'm always tripping over stuff, or every day they're trying to make me trip over something, or uh, cause me to lose my balance. I'm seeing it happen. I'm sitting back and I'm watching all of these elderly people being knocked down with these energy weapons, breaking hips, putting them down where they can't get up, and all of them are bedridden. And they don't know. They don't have a clue as to what is going on. They don't know that they're under attack. They all think it's just something that happened. Now, how can that many people have that many falls, and people just think, oh, well, it happens. Uh, it's no, not this many in this one town. And some of them neighbors. Nobody's caught on yet to what's going on. And the problem with the elderly is you can't tell them, you can't talk to an elderly, especially if they're bedridden and they might have a little dementia or something, and you can't just go and talk to them and tell them, that they're being attacked with energy weapons. They just, they can't wrap their minds around it, for one thing. They won't understand it. So it's it's a bad situation because I have to sit back and watch this happen and watch people being knocked down and watch people being bedridden and stricken and not having anybody to help them. I have been so busy for the past couple of weeks. I've been so busy trying to help people till I hadn't been online. I hadn't been able to get online. I hadn't had any time. And it's been so cold. It's been so cold outside. I can't get out. But I just wanted to bring this to people's attention about the elderly that are being knocked down and having their hips broken and their legs broken and all this. So maybe we can bring some kind of awareness out there to the elderly people. What is happening, what they are doing. Okay, they are literally taking out the elderly people. Now and most of these people they're at the age to where if they fall and break a hip or break a leg, it's going to put them down because they're not what you call really really walking that well anyway. I mean, this is you have some younger ones and then you have some older ones. When they get in their 80s, when they get 80 years old, they cannot physically get around like they could when they were 40, 50, or 60 years old. They just can't do it. It's the age catches up with you, and their bones are frail. And it doesn't take a very big fall to cause an elderly person to break a hip or break a bone. So they know what they're doing when they're targeting these elderly people like this inside their homes, and they're hitting the most vulnerable ones with this. Now, everybody's being targeted in some way, but they're hitting the elderly in a way to where they're actually rendering them to a helpless state. These people all ended up bedridden, okay, which means they have to have somebody to come in and help take care of them. So, and once they fall, once they have that first big fall and they break a hip or they break a leg, it kind of starts the shutdown process of the body, because if they were having problems walking before they fell, they're going to have a harder time recovering than someone who was walking okay, and getting around okay before they fell. Like the lady that I'm with right now, she fell 2 years ago, and she still hasn't recovered. But she was already kind of bent over and having trouble walking whenever she fell. And she's just steadily going downhill. Every day I can see her declining more and more and more because it's pain. And the pain, even though the hip replacement, even though the hip has healed, her hip has healed. But she has so much pain in that hip till she still cannot walk. She cannot use it. And I know all of y'all know how much pain these energy weapons can cause, okay, when they hit you. Now, and what they're doing is they're putting them down. They're putting them in the bed, and then once they get them bedridden, then they start beaming them with the energy weapons or the microwave weapons. They start beaming them, and this makes the pain in that area 1,000 times worse than it normally would be when they start hitting you. Okay, and now a lot of them are not only complaining with pain in their hips where they broke it, but they're also complaining with back pain and knee pain and shoulder pain. It's always some kind of excruciating pain that they have. And it's all the energy weapons doing this. The energy weapons are doing every bit of this, folks. And you'd be surprised at the people who still have no clue about what's going on. The majority of the population has no clue about these energy weapons. They still think this is just something that happens. They have no clue about what the government is doing to the people. And then let's talk about the young people who are having heart attacks and just killing over and dying. We've had, let's see, two young boys here in my town who just died of heart attacks in their sleep. Young kids now. One of them was 17, and the other was like 22. Never had any health problems. Still young, still healthy, and they just died in their sleep with heart attacks. I'm sorry, but don't try to make me believe that this is normal. This is not normal for these kind of things to be happening. So the energy weapons are still on attack. They're hitting everybody, but they seem to be on a roll with these elderly people. They seem to be just deliberately trying to take out as many of the elderly as they can. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about this for a minute because if you're an elderly person, you need to know what is happening. You need to know what these energy weapons are doing to the elderly, and you need to be aware. When you get up and you start walking, or when you go outside, or when you do whatever you're doing, whenever you're walking, you need to be conscious of these weapons, and you need to know that they are here. They are watching you. They are following you, and they will make you fall. The first time they get a chance, they're gonna make you fall and break something. There needs to be an awareness brought to the elderly community about these weapons and what they're doing. So that's why I want to do this video, mainly for the elderly. So if you know any elderly people who may already be having trouble getting around, please send this video to them, share this with them, and so they'll be consciously aware of what is going on. Also, I wanted to say just a little bit about these energy weapons that they use in Venezuela. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about these reports that these people have given about what happened in Venezuela on the day that they captured Maduro and his wife. And I know everybody has seen those videos, I know, but there are some people out there who haven't seen them and do not believe. There are masses of people who still do not believe that these weapons even exist. Okay, and one of the accounts that one of the guards gave of what happened, if I can remember correctly, I think he said that there were like 300 of them, and they didn't hear anything. They were on guard, and he said all these drones started showing up. I think he said it was like, he said it wasn't even a lot of drones. I think he said like 8 or 10 drones showed up. And then, and just kind of hovered over their area. And then he said there was some helicopters that showed up. About 20 helicopters showed up. And he said that there were soldiers who got out of these helicopters. And in his words, he said, and I read this because I remember it distinctly, he said that these were not irregular soldiers. He said these are not any kind of soldiers that we had ever fought against before. That's what he said. And then he went on to describe the weapons that they had. And he said there was some kind of sound weapon that they shot at them, and all of them started having nosebleeds, and some of them were vomiting. And he said that it felt like they had an explosion inside their head, and they all were laid out. He said they all fell to the ground. And he described this not a battle, but a massacre. He said it was a literal massacre. He said we didn't stand a chance against these advanced weapons. So just from hearing that, it's obvious that they were using directed energy weapons in Venezuela against these people. And I can tell you right now, I've had the explosion in the head back in 2020 when they first started hitting me. I had all kind of explosions in my head. I mean, I was having all kind of energy. It felt like energy just blasting through my skull. But there was one time in particular when I felt a pressure. When they shot something through my window, and it was some kind of sound. And it was a weird sound. I can't even, I can't imitate it. It was too weird, but they shot it through my window. And it hit my brain, but it also affected the central nervous system because my heart started racing real fast and my pulse started racing. And I thought I was having a heart attack. But then after that, there was like a pressure that started building up inside my head. And it was feeling really like, and I think this is what he's talking about when he said it felt like your head is exploding because there's a pressure which I'm pretty sure was an energy that they were shooting inside the head, and it causes a pressure to build up, and it makes your head feel like it's exploding from the inside. Okay, and there's really no way to describe this. You would have to just experience it for yourself to know what this feels like. And it's so scary. I mean, you'll be up, you'll get up, you'll have to get up, and you'll have to go outside. You'll have to do something. And the nosebleeds, I've had so many nosebleeds during my targeting till I've lost count. I used to wake up in the middle of the night and my sheets and everything would be bloody. My clothes would be bloody from the nosebleeds. I've had the vomiting. They got some kind of weapon they can hit you with that can make you vomit in 5 seconds flat. They can make you throw up. And once you get started, once the vomiting starts, I mean, it just keeps on coming. It just keeps on going on. You have to literally just wait and pray for it to stop. And also, there's a weapon that they have, and I think they call it the claw, because I looked it up once and I found it, and it's called the claw. And what this claw does is some kind of weapon where they shoot this sound, this real high-pitched sound into your ears, and then it feels like a claw or something grabs hold of your ear. It actually grabs hold of your inner ear and squeezes it. I had this happen over and over and over in 2020. And I tell you what, that was one of the times that was so excruciating and it's so upsetting and painful for me that I literally did think about taking myself out. Because I couldn't stand any more of that. And when they grab hold of your ears, there's nothing you can do. They've got you. And they squeeze them from it happens on the inside. It squeezes your ears, and there's not a thing you can do except scream. I used to scream and roll around on the ground and just beg God to help me, and I'd have to wait. You're helpless. There's nothing you can do. You just have to wait for it to stop. And sometimes it may go on for 2 or 3 minutes. But anyway, that I get emotional just even thinking about that, because that was probably one of the worst weapons that I had used against me uh, in that first year when they started attacking me back in 2020. But thank God that through prayer and meditation, thank God, God showed me what to do for that. And if anybody's having this happen to them, if they're having a weapon that hits their head and goes inside their ears, and it feels like their ears are being squeezed from the inside, there's something you can do. Now there is an implant inside your ear that makes this happen. There's an implant, and now I don't know how the implants got in my ear. I've never had any kind of surgery in my ear or anything like that. I don't know how they got in there, but they're there. The implants are inside my ear, and all they got to do is hit those implants, and they cause this to happen. But you can use some high powered or some strong magnets. Get you some strong magnets, and the bigger the better, to put behind your ears. Okay. Put some magnets, wear some magnets behind your ears. I usually put mine in at night and wear them all night while I'm sleeping. And the next day, when I take them off, the magnets will feel hot. They'll usually feel hot to the touch. And that's how you know that they've been doing the work. The magnets will deactivate these implants inside the ears, and you can stop this. You can stop this from happening. Now, that's not going to remove the implants. The implants are still going to be there, and they can come back. I have been laying there, I have been laying in the bed and just felt something probe inside my ear, and then I could hear the implants being reactivated. It's like they use some kind of energy, go inside your ear, and they reactivate those implants that you deactivated. They can do it. So you have to keep wearing the magnets over and over to keep deactivating the implants in order to stop this. And if you don't do that, I promise you, it would drive you insane. You will not want to live with this kind of torture. But anyway, the point I'm making is, for those people who still don't believe that these energy weapons exist and that the government's using them on the people, on the population, just watch some of these videos. Watch some of these videos that these people in Venezuela put out there. Listen to what they're saying about what happened on that day when they captured Maduro and his wife. Listen to what they're saying, and listen to their voices and how they tell the story. You will believe it. Trust me, you will believe it. If you didn't believe it before, you will when you hear these people talking about the accounts of what happened to them on that day and how they did not stand a chance. It was a total massacre. So just wanted to throw that out there, because a lot of people are talking about this, and there's still a lot of people who don't believe that these weapons exist. I hope these people don't have to find out the hard way like I did. I really do, because I wouldn't wish this kind of torture on anybody. I wouldn't. And I want to see it stopped. I want to see it stopped. And I'm doing everything I can. I'm doing everything I can. And I'm just one person. I can only do so much. But honestly, most of the people around here, they don't believe none of this. They don't believe it. I mean, it's just too out there, and it's too radical. It's too hard to wrap your mind around. People just don't believe it. Unless they're going through it themselves, they're not going to believe it. And I also believe that the time's going to come with this rollout of the AI. I believe the time's going to come for everybody, when everybody is going to be under attack with these weapons. And those people who claim they don't exist, it's going to make a believer out of them once it hits them. Just wait. But anyway, that's really all I wanted to talk about today. Just wanted to talk about the elderly people and how they're being knocked down with these energy weapons and having broken hips, broken legs, broken shoulders, broken hands, feet, toes. If you know an elderly person, share this with them. Share this with them. If they're in a state of mind to where you feel like they'll be receptive to this, if they are bedridden and if they have dementia, no, don't try to share it with them. But if it's somebody who is still living their life, not having any dementia, still in their right mind, and just finding themselves to be victims of these weapons, it's okay for somebody that's still independent and can still do things for themselves and still take care of themselves. And those people, they will understand. They will have a better chance of understanding than somebody who is down, bedridden, dementia, and dependent on other people to take care of them. But that's all, folks. I'll talk to you guys later. I love you.